Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gopramanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Punamun Supariprajapacharya Stotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kundi Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai Navadip Tham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamana Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you, Maheshmarit Prabhu, for nice kirtan. And thank you, dear devotees, for joining once again on our Zoom channel with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj, broadcasting from ISKCON of New Jersey in Towaco. So today we will continue our interactive session on the third chapter of the second canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. Today's verse is verse number 16, and as always, feel free to participate with your questions or comments. You can use the raise hand feature or the chat box. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madam Gopal Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtata Deshatarane Vansha Kolpatarupyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much for coming. My obeisances especially to Purushartha Prabhu, Leelakar Prabhu, and to all the devotees. The sages have been expressing their eagerness to hear more about Krishna. And in the previous verse, they said that they spoke about the qualifications of Maharaj Parikshit. He was a Mahabhagavata, and from his very childhood, he used to play with dolls of Lord Krishna. So he was absorbed in Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of his life, like other special devotees of the Lord who have that qualification. So now we're going to hear, we've heard about the audience, the main hearer for Srimad Bhagavatam, and now the Suta Goswami is going to speak about Shukadeva Goswami, the main speaker. Vayasakischa Bhagavan Vasudeva Parayana Urugaya Gunodara Satam Syur Hisamagame. Sukadeva Goswami, son of Vyasadeva, was also full in transcendental knowledge and was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, son of Vasudeva. So there must have been discussion of Lord Krishna, who was glorified by great philosophers and in the company of great devotees. So the first qualification, Vyasaki, he's the son of the great sage Vyasadeva. Immediately that in itself is a distinction. And the Bhagavan, he's full in transcendental knowledge. And Vasudeva Parayana, he's attached to Vasudeva. Parayana means kind of after, Prabhupada translates it sometimes, like the way a boy is after a girl. So he's after Krishna, attached to Krishna. Vasudeva Parayana. And Krishna is also described, Urugaya Gunodara. His qualities are talked about, Urugaya, glorified. His great qualities are Guna Udara, his extensive benevolent qualities are described Urugaya very vigorously. He's glorified. Satam's Hugh, Hisamagame. In the assembly of devotees particularly, he's glorified by great philosophers and in the association of devotees. The word satam is very important in this verse. It means the pure devotees who have no other desire than to serve the Lord. Only in the association of such devotees are the transcendental qualities, glories of Lord Krishna properly discussed. What is that? Satam prasangat mama virya samvido bhavanti hrid karna rasayana kata taj joshanada shua apavarga vartmani shradharatir bhaktiranukramishati. The topics are all full of spiritual significance, topics about Krishna, and by properly hearing about him in the association of satam, pure devotees, one senses the great potency and automatically attains the devotional stage of life. So both of them were on the same level. Prabhupada, I think he mentions in the purport that this word cha indicates that Brikshit Maharaj and Vyasaki, were both unalloyed pure devotees. Although superficially one was a householder, one was a complete vairagi, but they were both Vasudeva Parayana, fully Krishna conscious. When such devotees assemble together, there can be no topics save discussions of the glories of the Lord or bhakti yoga. Prabhupada gives an example, like suppose, you hear that there's a meeting of, George Soros and 3 or 4 other top finance guys. So what are they going to be talking about? Right? They're not going to be talking about Heidegger or about the Rolling Stones, or they're going to be talking about finance. If great authors get together, they're going to be talking about literature. So when great devotees get together, it's understood that they're going to be talking about Krishna. That's just natural. So there couldn't be any topic other than bhakti yoga. And same for Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself is speaking to his devotee, Arjuna, Bhaktosi me sakacheti. So what are they going to be talking about? Gyan, Vairagya, they may, but the target really is going to be pure devotional service, because Krishna is the worshipable object and Arjuna is Krishna's devotee. Whatever the mundane scholars may speculate. And here, yes, cha means they're both, Sukadeva and Parikshit were on the same level. And so they had a common aim. All right, now there's a question from Vijay Krishna. What's the difference between a great philosopher and a philosopher who's not great? What's the difference between a teacher and a philosopher? Is it that a teacher, to be complete, must also be a philosopher? A philosopher, to be complete, must also be a teacher. Well, okay. First of all, the difference between a philosopher and a great philosopher, there's probably not much difference. Like the word very. What's the difference between disturbed and very disturbed? At what point does one move from being disturbed to being very disturbed, or from being happy to being very happy? There's not really a line you can draw. So Prabhupada almost reflexively uses this great often. But a great philosopher means not your ordinary dime store variety philosopher, but a philosopher of some distinction, some quality, not just poor. The word really is urugai. Gai means talked about, and urugai. Uru is like big, very much, urugai. Seriously talked about. So urugai, so great philosophers. Difference between a teacher and a philosopher. Well, of course, a philosopher can just think, but when he instructs others, then he's a teacher. And a teacher can teach all sorts of things, but if he's a philosopher, then he'll teach about philosophy. This is sort of ordinary. Any questions? Other? It is our great misfortune that we can't hear in the assembly of pure devotees. Is the benefit the same if the assembly is not pure? Oh, if it is our great misfortune. I thought you were making a statement. Too bad we can't disparage all the devotees. If we can't hear, then it is our misfortune. And is the benefit the same if the assembly is not pure? No. If we hear among those who are mental speculators, those who are fruitive workers, those who are professional men who make a living by reciting topics from Bhagavad Gita or Puranas, then it won't be the same. No, it won't. We should hear from pure devotees. Yes. What is the meaning of properly discussed? Properly discussed. We were seeing a samagame company, a complete company. There must have been discussion. Urugaya. That can also be uru, but properly discussed means that you're not speaking nonsense. It's not mental speculation. It's not ignorant people just saying, well, I think, well, it could be. Properly discussed means that there's a suitable hearer and there's a suitable speaker. Then it can be properly discussed. If the hearers are not, if the speaker is not qualified, then you won't get the result. And if the hearers are not interested, you won't get the result. Or if they have simply ulterior motives. But when the hearers are submissive and sincere and eager to hear, and the speaker is qualified, and they're all interested, then properly discussed. So there's properly discussed, and then there's just like philosophers getting together, scholars getting together for a conference on Radha and Krishna. That's not properly discussed. It means they'll speculate. They'll just further their academic careers, and they'll have some theory and another theory and another theory. But it won't be properly discussed. Properly discussed means that the audience is qualified and the speaker is qualified. Anything else?
Yes, Maharaj.
Sir?
If I may, my obeisances, related to the following sentence, when I found on the purport, when such devotees are assembled together, there can be no topics save discussions of the glories of the Lord or Bhakti Yoga. My question is, why is it that we will never find these people playing football or dancing the samba?
Why will we not find them doing
What
that?
makes them, when they get together, they go for rather Krishna topics? Why is it that, what makes them go for Krishna and not for playing football or dancing the samba when they get together?
They're not interested in football.
Why not?
Do I really need to say? I mean, it seems like
what is the force behind them to make them go only for Krishna topics and nothing else?
Well, first of all, for a person like Shukadev Goswami, he's a devotee of Krishna. So that's the business of the devotees. Much chitta, madvita, prana. Krishna is their life and soul. They're always thinking of Krishna. So what are they going to do? Why, those who are always thinking about football, they can't wait for pandemic to ease up so they can go out and play football. That's all they're thinking. But those who are always thinking about Krishna, they're looking forward to the opportunity to get together with other devotees, have kirtan, hear about Krishna. It's natural.
Natural. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Thank you. My question is how the three modes of material nature are related to Maya. How are they applied to someone's life? That's Shameshwar's question. Well, it's not really a question about the verse, is it? But how they applied, how they're related to Maya. There are three Daiviyesha Gunamayi. Maya is made of. Mayi means made of. The three modes of material nature. These are the three constituent forces of material nature. So, how they're related to Maya, that's how they're related to Maya in brief. Gurudas replies to Vijay Krishna, self-interest, a person with Krishna on his mind is interested in the eternal, not the temporary. Yeah, true. Okay, shall we move on?
Maharaj, are you going now to the next verse?
Depends whether or not you have a question before we.
Yes, I have a very important one, at least I think. Maharaj, at the very end of the purport, we find two important words placed on the last sentence. And these two words are three words, two principal devotees. Can you find it? Two principal devotees.
Yes, so what's the question?
Okay, so Maharaj, is it like this? These three words, they bring to me the two famous lists 9 devotees who attained perfection executing the 9 different processes of devotional service, and the 12 Mahajans. So when I compare these two lists, what I see is that Maharaj Parikshit is listed as one of the 9 devotees related to Shravanam, hearing. Shukadeva Goswami is listed as attaining perfection in Kirtanam, speaking. And Bali Maharaj is listed as one of the 9 perfect devotees related to Atmanivedanam, surrender of body, mind, and words. Then I go to the next list, the 12 Mahajans, and again, what I see is that Shukadeva Goswami is listed as one of the 12 Mahajans, and Bali Maharaj also. But I do not see Maharaj Parikshit listed as one of the 12 Mahajans. So my question is, why is it that Maharaj Parikshit is not considered one of the 12 Mahajans? I can't hear you, Maharaj.
Because the list was already full. There were already 12, so there wasn't room for a 13th. That's why he's not there.
Maharaj, yes, please.
It's not like, these lists come at different places at different times with different focus. It's not that everything has to line up, and this is not mathematics. But we're appreciating Parikshit Maharaj as a great devotee. We're appreciating Mahajans. It's not that everything has to be calculated.
And Maharaj, just to finalize, 3 short questions related to this subject. Who was there choosing the 12 ones, the 12 Mahajans?
Yamaraj.
Okay, and when did it happen, the choosing?
When they were chosen, I don't know, but he's speaking this verse. I'd have to look it up and see where it was spoken.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Enough. Ayur Harati Vaipum Sam.
Ajamil story.
Ajamil
story. It was in the Ajamil story.
I can't hear you, Prabhu.
It was in Ajamil story. He was speaking that verse.
Yes, that's where it is, right. When he's narrating, when the story of Ajamil is narrated, then he's speaking to his messengers, I would think. And he's saying, this is the list. And he includes himself on the list. Thank you. Ayur Harati Vaipum Sam Udyan Astam Chayan Asau Tasyarte Yatkshano Nita Uttama Shloka Vartaya. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. This verse indirectly confirms the greater importance of utilizing the human form of life to realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord. By acceleration of devotional service. I find this word acceleration to be highly significant here. One may be engaged in devotional service, but here it's acceleration of devotional service. When I don't drive a car, but I think if you have a stick shift, then at some point you push it in a certain way and you speed up, right? Or in any car, you put your foot on the pedal and you accelerate. That pedal's called a gas pedal or an accelerator. So here, we hear about the importance of using our time in such a way as to accelerate devotional service. We should be making progress. We should be moving. We should not be plodding along in spiritual life, but we should be accelerating. Why? Because time is short. And every time the sun rises and sets, another day is gone. You mark it off on your calendar. The sun is set, so practically today is September 9th, 2020, just about gone. And once it's gone, Prabhupada said you can't buy it back for any amount of gold. Chanakya Pandit says that with any amount of gold, you can't buy back even a minute. Now it's 8:25. We can't buy back 8:20 for any amount of gold. It's gone. And therefore, one characteristic of an advanced devotee is that he's very eager to use all of his time and not waste any time. The materialists are very keen about not wasting money. Indian businessmen are particularly good at this, making sure that the expenses are kept low, that we're not wasting any money. Or any business community or any serious businessman. They want to see that no money is wasted. Money is so important to us. We don't want to lose money. If we buy something, we don't want to buy it just to pay more than we have to pay. So we go through so much, especially if you're buying something big. If you're buying a house, you're buying a car, then you're always attentive. I should get a good deal. I shouldn't lose money. But time, we piddle away. We shoot the breeze. We hang out. We engage in idle sports, idle topics. We cruise around on the internet. We watch a movie or two. We do this. We do that. Do all sorts of things that amounts to losing time. The time goes by and we haven't accomplished anything. We haven't rendered any service. We haven't made any, enriched ourselves spiritually. The time is just gone, irretrievably. So, ayur harati means it takes away. Harati means it takes away what? Ayu, duration of life. Even from another point of view, everyone's interested in living longer. But if during this life we're wasting our time, what's the use of living longer? The time is actually being taken away. You live 100 empty years. What is that? So ayu harati vai pumsam, the sun, which is the emblem of time, it takes away everyone's life, kshana, takes away everyone's life, udyanastam, by rising and setting, tasya rute, except for yakshano nita, those who use their time. Kshana means a moment, who use every moment. Uttama shloka vartaya, in the topics of Uttama shloka, Krishna, who's glorified by transcendental verses beyond modes of material nature. A living being is constitutionally a spiritual spark of the complete whole, and his happiness can be perfectly perceived in spiritual activities. The Lord is the complete spirit whole, and his name, form, quality, pastimes, entourage, and personality are all identical with him. Once a person comes into contact with any of the above mentioned energies of the Lord through the proper channel of devotional service, the door to perfection is immediately opened. What is that? Mahat Sevam Dwaramahu Vimukte. By service to a great soul, the door to liberation is at once open. So one who comes in touch with the name, form, qualities, pastimes, anything about Krishna, for him, the door to perfection is open. And even a little bit, what is that? Oh my goodness. The Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatobhaya. Even a little bit is enough to deliver a person from the great ocean of material fears. As a highly potent drug injected intravenously acts at once on the whole body, the transcendental topics of the Lord injected through the ear of the pure devotee can act very efficiently. Oral realization of the transcendental messages implies total realization, just as fructification of one part of a tree implies fructification of all the others. So if one hears properly, if one gets it by hearing, then he gets everything. If he understands, if he realizes the potency of Krishna's name, then he realizes Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's everything, because there's no difference. There's no difference between Krishna's qualities, Krishna's form, Krishna's name, Krishna's everything. So if one realizes anything about Krishna, then that realization extends in every direction. This realization for a moment in the association of pure devotees like Shukadev Goswami prepares one's complete life for eternity. Lavamatra Sadhusange, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Even by a moment's association with such a devotee. And thus the sun fails to rob the pure devotee of his duration of life, inasmuch as he's constantly busy in the devotional service of the Lord, purifying his existence. He's attentive. If you're not attentive, people will steal your money, right? You're running a business, but you're inattentive, so your money is being siphoned off or dribbled away here and there. But if you're attentive, you can preserve your capital and invest it and turn it into more capital. So if one is always busy in devotional service, then the time won't be stolen. The time will be profitable. Death is a symptom of the material infection of the eternal living being. Only due to material infection is the living entity subjected to birth, death, old age, disease. So if one gets freed from that infection, then there's no death. Death means, for the ordinary person, but the devotee, Chatvadeham Punarjanmanaiti, his death means, like Dhruva Maharaj, Vaikuntha airplane came for him, and just as he was about to get into the plane, death approached him. So he took the opportunity to step on death's head and get into the plane. The way you have like those little stairways. So he stepped on death's head and got into the plane. That's the position of the pure devotee. Then there's a discussion about charity and how charity is to be given. So similarly, a moment passed in the association of devotees, a pure devotee, by hearing and chanting the transcendental messages of the Lord, is a perfect guarantee for eternal life, for going back to Godhead. So here's a surefire way to invest your capital. What is that capital? The energy of your life. That energy should be engaged in Krishna's service. Then, a devotee's old age or disease in the present life is but an impetus to such guaranteed eternal life. This is highly significant, actually. Srila Prabhupada, of course, wrote this when he was already in old age. So this is not theoretical knowledge, this is realized knowledge. The devotee's old age or disease is but an impetus to guaranteed eternal life. The devotee sees, I'm getting old. So what does he do about that? The materialist tries to squeeze in some more sense gratification. He goes to the doctor and tries to restore his virility, or one way or another, he tries to enjoy. But the devotee sees time is running out. So I have to accelerate my devotional service. Not that, yes, I have to accelerate my devotional service because my time is running out to finish the job. So old age and old age is the sign of impending death, old age, disease. So these are signals from Krishna. Time is running out. Just sometimes on these, what is it, like a marathon or something like that, you know that you only have 100 yards to go or 10 yards to go or whatever it is. So you put in a special extra effort. So or book distribution marathons, you're trying to reach a certain goal and you only have an hour left. So in a similar way, these are signs. Time is running out, kid. You're getting old, you're getting disease. Death is coming, it's approaching you. So then the devotee thinks, yes, death is coming. I have to become more serious about devotional service. Let's see, there's some comments here in chat box land. Tulyama Lavena P. Yes, Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya. You can post that verse if you like. And nothing equals even a moment of association with a pure devotee. Ramdas, with many of us, especially newer devotees, having dharmic duties within realms of family, friends, and work, how can we shift away from wasting time in the company of non-devotees? How can we engage them and ourselves in bhakti yoga without overstepping boundaries? Well, by seeing that these dharmic duties are not the highest dharmic duties, and that one therefore doesn't have to be busy in the dharmic duties of attending this family function and that family function and this social function and that social function. People come to know this guy's busy. Everyone has, what should we say? People know, well, this guy, he's always playing golf, so he's not going to come because he's going to be on the golf course. That's just the way he is. Or this guy, he's going to be working late. He always works late. And they take it into account. That's just the way he is. Well, this guy, he's always doing something at the temple. He's always doing something with the with the devotees. And they just, that's the way he is, And he's just, he spends his time in religious activities, as they say. And they think, well, too bad he's missing out, or whatever it is, they go on. And they for a couple minutes, they wish you were there. And or somebody says, where's such and such? And they say, well, there's a festival going on today. Everybody nods and says, yeah, So they get to know. That's the way you are. You give more importance to what they call religious activities or dharmic activities or simply Krishna consciousness. So because you're busy in those things, people get it. And even that, then they start to think, what is he doing? Why is he always busy in that? That in itself may help them if they just think about it. Otherwise, sometimes you'll meet them. There'll be some unavoidable social occasions or something that you want to be present for. And then you take the opportunity. You're there. Oh my God, even when he comes, he's always talking about Krishna. Well, you asked me to come. What did you expect? This uncle's always talking about politics. That uncle's always talking about sports. This uncle's always talking about business. And this uncle is always talking about Hare Krishna. Well, that's the world. People have different interests, and your interest happens to be about Krishna. So that's what a devotee does wherever he goes, he makes people Krishna conscious. He brings books with him wherever he goes. People can take advantage of transcendental literature. He brings prasadam so people can get some benefit from that. And especially he brings the message of Krishna. Now, obviously it's not that you're at some social occasion, you're going to get up on a soapbox and start giving an oration about Krishna. But this is the devotee's business. He looks for opportunities. Or sometimes there are people who are shy in social occasions. They hang back a little bit along the side while everybody else is, busy dancing or doing this or that. He's hanging back. You can hang back. You have a book with you. So while they're busy doing something silly, you're reading. You're reading about Krishna or you're chanting because your interest isn't really there. And you can also master the art of what they call showing your face, right? You come, you show your face, and then you go. Not that you have to be there for the whole 5 hours. You come, you show your face, you make a decent appearance, and then you go, because it's just not all that important to you. It's, as you say, a dharmic duty or a social obligation. So you fulfill your social obligation, and then, okay, I fulfilled my obligation, I'm free to go. So in this way, a devotee is eager to conserve his valuable time. Either he doesn't go, or he goes briefly, or he goes and looks for some opportunity for serving. These are some of the strategies of the devotees. How can we engage them and ourselves in bhakti without overstepping boundaries? That you have to see. Maybe you'll sell them books. Maybe you'll invite them to the temple. Maybe you'll sit with their kids and teach them a verse or two. You see what kind of opportunities present themselves. If you're thinking about it, then Krishna will help you. Amazing statement. Sorry, scroll. Samarpana. Amazing statement with analogy. Oral realization of the transcendental messages implies total realization. Just as fructification of one part of a tree implies fructification of all other parts. Can you explain the more, Maharaj, for clear understanding? Can we get realization simply by hearing properly? Yes, Prabhupada mentions that in regard to the 9 items of devotional service that we were talking about earlier. with the first complete engagement, one attains perfection. Parikshit Maharaj attained perfection only by hearing, Shukadeva Goswami, just by speaking, and so on. So with the first, you can do, therefore Prabhupada said you can do all 9 or 8 or 7, even 1. So the complete engagement in any one of these implies perfection all around. Can we get realization simply by hearing properly from the realized soul? That's the example of Parikshit Maharaj. That's what he did. He wasn't washing the pots. He wasn't doing meditation. He was simply totally absorbed in hearing. And that total absorption in hearing was more than sufficient to award him all perfection. So, yes. Dipti, wondering why Prabhupada has added purport of charity in this significant verse related to utilization of time. Well, it comes actually from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who's quoted it from the Manusmriti. And we can go back and see how he uses it also. But and I could also answer it, of course, just from Prabhupada's context, but let's take a look here. It is said, this is Vishwanath, that the wealth of those of good character is imperishable wealth, since others spend their wealth in unlimited pleasures. Then this verse is quoted about time, about charity. Samam abramane danam, dvigunam brahmane bruve adhite shatasahasram anantam vedaparage. And then, as Prabhupada said, if you give to a non-Brahmin, then you give to a Brahmin, and a qualified Brahmin. Really, he says exactly what Prabhupada says. So let's go back to Prabhupada's purport, which was more accessible anyway. The ultimate end of Vedic knowledge is realization of the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. There's guarantee of monies being returned if given in charity, regardless of proportion. Similarly, a moment passed in the association of a pure devotee by hearing and chanting the transcendental messages of the Lord is a perfect guarantee for eternal life. So you can apply it, just take money out of the equation and put time. Here they're investing money in charity. So even if you invest it sort of second class, you give to a half-educated Brahmin, still you get the money restored double. If you give to a non-Brahmin, you get it back. If you give it to a half-educated Brahmin, you get it double. If you give it to a fully qualified Brahmin, hundreds and thousands of times. And you give it to a Veda Paraga, one who's really understood the Vedas, and you get it back unlimitedly. So time is money. The expression is time is money. So if you invest your time, even if you invest your time in sort of inattentively or a little negligently chanting Hare Krishna or doing some service, even that will be of eternal value. Then if you invest your time seriously, then it comes back still more. And if you fully dedicate your time with attention, enthusiasm, then what do you get back? You get timelessness. You invested time, and you get unlimited time. Our time in this life is limited. You live for 50 years, 100 years, however many years, and then your time runs out. And people try to extend their time. They go to the doctor and say, as Prabhupada told about one person he knew, if I could only have 4 more years, or whatever. You try to extend your life through another operation or another treatment or another nature cure or this or that or the other thing. Extend your time, and maybe it seems you can extend your time by a little bit. Of course, that's an illusion. But anyway, apparently or superficially, you can extend your time a little bit. But by chanting Hare Krishna, and especially by associating with devotees and seriously engaging in devotional service, you get unlimited time. What is that? Nimeshardhakyo vavrajati nahi yajapi samai. In the spiritual world, not a moment of time goes by. There's no past, present, and future. Time is eternal in the spiritual world. So the comparison is there on the principle that time is money. And as you want to save money, and not only save it, because just saving it, that's the business of the misers, you just keep it in the bank. But using your money wisely, and especially giving charity, then your money is, as they say, working for you. If you invest your money, it's working for you. And if you give it in charity, it's giving you still greater value. So if you're using your time in the service of Krishna, then you're getting value up to the point of unlimited eternal life. So I hope that answers. Tulsi Priya had a comment. Tell us, Tulsi Priya.
I'm trying to unmute her. Okay, there she is.
Hi, Krishna. I couldn't unmute at first. Maharaj, for some reason, I'm just really relishing what you're saying, because ever since Vijay Krishna Prabhu asked his question about football and dancing the samba, my mind has been turning on why devotees, prefer to talk about Krishna instead of playing football and dancing the samba. And you've answered that question in various ways. And I'm going to listen to this class definitely over again, because I don't know, it's really hitting me. But a thought that occurred to me, and you can correct me if I'm off track, is that it gives pleasure to talk about Krishna. And the other day, I think it was today, my husband, he shares with me verses that he reads. It's from the first canto. It says, as spiritual beings having eternal relations with that transcendental form of the Lord, we are, life after life, searching after that form of the Lord, and we are not satisfied by any other form of material appeasement. So that's from the first canto, chapter 6, verse 19, purport. And so, people who play football or like to watch football or dance the samba, they're doing it because it gives them pleasure. But pure devotees, they understand either sooner or later that their pleasure comes from talking about Krishna and serving Krishna. And so if somebody really loves to dance the samba, they're going to be expert in talking about it. They're going to be expert in judging it. They're going to be expert in dancing it and so many things. And so pure devotees are expert at relishing topics of Krishna. And not only that, everything that we see in other things, in football, in samba, in politics, in so many different things, the essence of all those things is found in Krishna, and also not just the essence, but the expression of those things. Football has elements of chivalry, of victory, and you read about Krishna's pastimes, and there's those things there. Samba is dancing, Krishna is dancing. So anyways, I'm rattling on now, but I think I made my point.
Yeah, it's why should I toss a football around when I could go back to Godhead and toss? So I'm a lucky around with Krishna and the Cowherd Boys. I mean, what would you rather do? Or why would you want to dance the samba when you can be in the rasa dance? It's just the rasa dance is that's the perfection of dancing. Even if you just want to watch dancing, you watch Krishna dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. Now there's dancing. So rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Devotees are interested in talking about Krishna because they've got a little taste, and that taste is so nice, so sweet that they don't want to go back. This taste for football and the samba, what have you, it's the taste that one has when one's diseased by material nature. So you know someone's now everybody knows, you know, you have a taste for tobacco. It's like, you know, how low, how stupid. So all of these material tastes, they're just because he's infected by passion, because he's infected by ignorance. So he's got a taste for these dull things. But the devotees, as Prabhupada mentions, they've got this injection through oral reception. So they get freed from the disease. So when they're freed from the disease, it's like football, the samba. They what is it? Vayam tu navatripyamo uttama shloka vikrame yats trinvatam rasagyanam svadu pade. We can never get enough of this, the sages are saying. Vayam tu navatripyamo. We never come to the point where, all right. No, it's like Uttama Shloka Vikrame. We're hearing about Uttama Shloka. We're hearing about his glorious activities. Yats Trinvatam Rasagyanam. Anyone who knows anything about juice, rasa, about taste, svadu, he finds this to be relishable and more relishable at every step. So when one is relishing this Krishna Katha, then why does he want to go for any lower thing? Even, you know, take it materially. Those who have a cultivated taste for sophisticated classical music, they're not going to be, you know, sitting around listening to some stupid top 40 song. It doesn't have any attraction for them because they've come to a higher plane of musical appreciation. So similarly, but those who've heard the flute of Krishna, I was hearing that the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they become stunned. Those who are experts in music hear Krishna's flute and it's like, what is he doing? How is he doing that? It's just the tunes are too much. It's the nectar of Krishna's flute. Everybody forgets everything. The calves forget to drink the milk from the udders of their mothers. The rivers forget to flow. The bees start humming like madmen. So everything is so energized by Krishna's flute. So, you know, why do they want to hear Moon Spoon top 40? I love you, baby, baby, I love you. I love you, baby, baby, I love you. You know, it's like, what is that? What is that? So the devotees have achieved the taste for the highest nectar. Vayam tu navatripya. So they're never satisfied, never satiated. Enough. Svadu. At every step, better and better taste. Shara liked your comment, beautiful comment, Tulsi Priya. Sukadev Goswami appreciates, Samarpan says, the eagerness of Parikshit Maharaj in 10th Canto. Paramhamsa's devotees who have accepted the essence of life are attached to Krishna, the core of their hearts, and he is the aim of their lives. It is their nature to talk only of Krishna at every moment, as if such topics were newer and newer. They are attached to such topics just as materialists are attached to topics of women and sex. We can end there. Thank you all very much. And thank you, Samarpan, for that nice
Thank you,
quote.
Maharaj.
Thank you, Tulsi Priya. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, and thank you, dear devotees, for making this so lively and engaging. I know there's more comments and questions in the audience, so kindly let's see if we can take them up the next time.
It's 9 o'clock.
Next time, oh, there's Tulsi Priya Mataji's robot reminding us that it's 9 o'clock. Thank you. Yeah, so please bring your comments for the next session that's going to be on Friday. Just want to make our regular announcements. So, of course, on Thursdays we have the Vanaprastha adventure with Jayadvaita Maharaj on a different Zoom channel, and that link can be found on Maharaj's website. Let's see, yeah, Maharaj's website jswami.info. Let's see, and I have some echoing there. And of course, our finance planning for devotees seminar by Vamshidhari Gopal Prabhu is going to start this weekend, this Sunday. It's 2-hour sessions, so 4 Sundays in a row starting this Sunday. So please join us 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can register on this link, tinyurl.com/register finance seminar ISKCON. If you don't want to memorize that, you can find that link on our ISKCON of New Jersey website. It's right there in the front of ISKCON of New Jersey webpage. And then, of course, the Pathways to Perfection is a much-awaited series on the 9 processes of devotion. We have 10 different speakers, so starting this Saturday at 9 a.m. So every Saturday at 9 a.m. for the next 10 Saturdays, we'll be having this wonderful series that has been put together by the Bhakti Center, co-hosted by our New York, New Jersey, and Gitanagari temples. So we'll kick that off with His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj this Saturday. So you can just make a note. If you want to register for Zoom, you can do tinyurl.com P2 Perfection. If you just want to watch on YouTube, you can go to Temple at BC. That's Bhakti Center, the Temple at BC link. Okay, and our spiritual evenings at Towaco continues. So on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have our second canto discussion with Jayadvaita Maharaj. Tomorrow, we have Mother Vegavati talking on a very wonderful topic on how Krishna's mercy is available to everyone. And on Sunday, we have His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami Maharaj. So be sure to join. And of course, this is for tomorrow. Be sure to join tomorrow's session. I think you'll enjoy it. Same time, same place. So thank you all.
Last Vegavati.
And in fact, Mother Vegavati is here. She's been a regular member of our audience as well. So, we thank you all for joining. And if you like, you can say a quick Haribol. We'll leave this open for another few seconds so we can thank Maharaj. And I want to thank all of you once again for being such a wonderful audience and being so participative and interactive. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Haribol.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Dandavata Pranam Maharaj.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you
Maharaj. Thank
so
you.
much.
Hari Bol, Pranam Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Need your blessings.
Blessings, blessings.
Maharaj, if I may, Maharaj, let me give my thanks to Tulsi Priya Mataji for making me famous. And thank you for your wonderful class again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vijay Krishna. You're the life of the party.
Life party.
Thank you, Maharaj.